Welcome back, viewers, to another good, bad, and batshit review. This time looking at Lower Decks Season 4, Episode 6, Parth Ferengi's Heart Place. I'm one of your hosts, and this week, again, joined with me. Oh, God, make it sound like Trill. Joining me this week, we have Craig from Planet Marzipan. How's it going, Craig?
It's going great, Stu. Great to see you again.
And you as well. It's been all of 2 minutes since we did our last recording.
I've missed it already.
Yeah. So it didn't scare you off with that one.
I'm good.
Good. Because Planet Marzipan is an audio recording at the moment, at least.
We've got a good face for radio, put it that way.
Oh, I've got to do video though, because like I've collected the uniforms. I've got over 30 of them now. I've got to find some way of showing them off.
So you've got 30 kind of Federation uniforms. Got a Marillion t-shirt on here. I've probably got well over 150 or so of them, much to the missus's like, stop buying them.
So you can literally wear one for 2 days and no, you can wear each one twice a day. No, hang on. No, I've got no idea where the hell I was going with that.
And you were going with that. I could basically wear one for 2 days and cover the entire year.
But I realise that's completely wrong, because that would be 300 days and there's 365 days in a year.
I've probably got enough.
Okay. We won't tell you, missus. That is the thing. You get to a point and you know, you have so many of these things that, you know, you can start sneaking ones in, can't you?
Yeah, how many starships have you got?
Oh, well over 400. Yeah.
That's a proper fleet.
That is. I'm to the point I cannot name them all. I mean, I know their names, but I couldn't sit and list them. That'd be a really boring podcast anyway. So
it would drive you to madness.
Indeed. Instead, we are here talking about the most recent Lower Decks episode that dropped just today, hours ago. But before we go into any details in it, we need to go to Red Alert, because we will be discussing things that are spoilers for Lower Decks episode 6 of season 4. Parth Ferengi, I have to pronounce this correctly, Parth Ferengi's Heart Place.
Instead of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Yes. Now, were you familiar with Garth Marenghi?
I know of it, but to be honest, hold my hand up, I've never watched it.
Right. I was a big fan of it when it first came out, and I'm still a big fan of it. I've got the Blu-ray box set and all that kind of nonsense. A lot of fun. But it is really, really obscure and cult British TV, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
He just must have discovered it on one of the channels, or bought the Blu-ray just to kind of get inspiration.
It seems a bit out of place, doesn't it, for an American TV show? I mean, when we got the episode titles leaked, I was a bit, what the hell is going on there? But I know some Americans, lots of Americans are familiar with Garth Marenghi. So yeah, let's dive straight in then. There was a lot to like in this episode. Did you say this is one of your favorite episodes so far of the season?
Oh, this is my favorite episode of the season so far. Being a massive DS9 fan, when they bring the Ferengi into anything now, I love the comedy Ferengi episodes back in the day. And I just love the balance of light and dark with DS9, and the bringing the Ferengi into DS9 and kind of giving them a proper place in the franchise rather than their kind of disastrous start in Next Generation. And always had a love for them. And I just like the way that they mirror ourselves.
Don't they just? Don't they just? Well, is that would that be top of your list for the good aspect of this episode then? Is Ferengi's?
Oh, there's more. There's more.
Yeah. Well, what you got then?
What have I got? It depends on whether you want to discuss the episode in order or whether you want to just go straight into the talking
No,
about
let's go straight.
the
I'm going to like anybody watching this will have seen the episode, so they know what happens in it. And I get irritated when you see these podcasts and then they tell you like what you already know, like what happens. So yeah, people have seen it.
I like the way, especially this episode, where they bring Rutherford and Tendy's relationship forward. The whole kind of the growing kind of denial of romance between the two of them, and it does feel like nerdy kind of budding romance that they're just too shy and too embarrassed to kind of admit to. And it's been developing ever since the first season, and it must eventually come to some kind of crescendo, hopefully by the end of the season, where they'll finally admit to things. But and again, it's one of those things where it's like the one thing that Star Trek always does, even better than a lot of other franchises, is characters. You love the characters. They've got such, you see, right from original series all the way through, there's such depth to the characters. And that's one of the reasons you keep tuning in, isn't just for the great space battles or kind of the scientific stories and things like that. It's the characters. And I think with Lower Decks, the characters have developed. And all of them. I mean, Mariner, you keep saying she keeps hitting the reset button, going back to being kind of a screw up. But again, they deal with it and they use one of our older friends in it to say that this is your pattern, this is what you keep doing, grow up. And it's just nice the way that the show just moves things forward. I mean, it's great to see Lita and Rom as well, and how they've kind of developed. And it's just Chase Masterson back in the day was a big pin-up of mine. I do have a signed picture to me with kisses all over it, so it's still there.
Do you? I mean, she's still a stone cold hottie to this day.
But no, there's just so much in this episode as well, like the big jokes and gags and things. I mean, everything from Boimler getting stuck in front of Ferengi TV for the whole time because he's just got sucked into it. Again, it's just, I'm not going to watch this rubbish, but there's the eyes like circles after 8 hours. and then they come after get the security team to pull him out and says, don't struggle, stay limp. I mean, it's great.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, like yourself, I've got Rom and Lita and their development as part of my good list. I was really worried where it seemed to be going at first with Rom, like really playing up his idiot side. So I was relieved when that got subverted because I was a bit.
Yeah.
Going?
Was it going? Playing dumb cop, reasonable cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of worried that when he was just doing his baseball addiction kind of thing after, Take Me Out to the Holosuite, that episode on DS9 where he was absolutely awful at baseball, but kind of must obviously have developed a love for it even more over the years between the end of DS9 and the start of Lower Decks.
Hey, nobody can bunt like Rom.
No.
Fantastic. And so for me, the overwhelming. We're sticking with Ferengi on this, but because overwhelmingly the best aspect. I love world building. I mean, you're absolutely right what you say about the characters, but I love world building. I love finding out about these different cultures and seeing their evolution. And the fact that they haven't just gone, now that Rom's Grand Nagus, Snap Fingers, and Ferengi now is totally different. No, you can see it's developing as a culture, but it's not just hit the big everything suddenly changed reset button. It's taking its time to evolve and develop. So there's a lot of kind of traditionalist Ferengi values still being employed, but it's a gradual change. I just thought that was a fantastic take.
Yeah, Uncle Quark's Youth Casino.
Yes.
Get him while they're young.
What was it called? Maximum Umox Rub Emporium or something.
Well, the Sluggo Cola advert where he takes a swing and he's lobe scroll.
This will happen to you.
You mean they can lie in adverts?
They can put adverts in the middle of shows. Fantastic.
It's great.
Well, let's move on to the bad, and just a quick reminder for all our viewers: when we say bad, we don't mean it was bad. We mean it could have been better. It was a low point can still be quite high. I know what I mean by that. What could have been better for you, Craig?
The only slight niggle that I had, and it's just me being sad, is the early bit with the Ferengi ship. And it's just a throwaway line there. Yeah, we've got a portable Genesis device. Really? Come on. It was the Genesis device thing was always very political hot potato in Star Trek. And could you ever see it being kind of actually legalized after everything that came out?
Potentially, yes, but not by the Federation.
Yeah.
So it's not to say it was a Federation device.
No. But that was just my little, you can't use that.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. It's too much of a doomsday device.
Yes.
It's too OP to have in the world.
Yeah. But it's just a case of like it doesn't quite fit. And also, if the ship had been destroyed, could that Genesis device have been triggered and reanimated the Ferengi actually on the ship?
Oh, do you know that's an interesting take moving forward. Yeah, no, I get it. I get where you're coming from. Yeah, I can see why, you would put the Genesis device up there. I've got two two bad points, two room for improvement. One is that Admiral was just shit.
Yes.
And an Admiral wouldn't be that bad at their job.
Yeah, I mean them getting him to dance was a little bit. I get the joke with it, but
yeah, it was stretching credulity a little bit far. But my biggest bad point was they called the episode Parth Ferengi's Heart Place, and there were no references whatsoever to Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
No,
Why?
I think they just used that on the play on words to get the heart stuff in for a lot of the heart imagery with Rutherford and Tendi in the hotel, where they were saying that the universal sign of love, no matter where you are, is the heart shape. So I think they just used the Garth Marenghi's play on words as a jumping off point because it fit with the theme of the episode.
Yeah, I get that, but kind of like have something in the show that connects it. It just
Like a
yeah,
little Richard Iadoni like hiding in the background or something like that.
Exactly. Or or get Matt. I mean, Matt Berry. I know he shies away from doing voiceover stuff. But that's irony. Matt Berry's in fucking everything. Doing his voice.
I was thinking Star Wars.
Now.
Yeah, he was at Star Wars.
In Book of Boba Fett, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and Disenchanted. Anyway, we were not going to list everything Matt Berry's been in because this will be an extremely long podcast. But they could have got him in to do something, surely. I don't know. Or Richard Iowade. Richard's brilliant.
Yeah. So did you? I mean, there's a lot of like, if you're done with your bad bits, there's a lot of like clever things that are kind of saw. I mean, some people obviously would have picked up straight away when they went to the Starfleet experience on Ferengi, which is obviously a take on the Hilton Quarks bar and the Star Trek experience at the Hilton that used to be in Vegas. So that a good play on that, which was something I never got to see, which I really wish I had.
Yes. Did it have a room for couples to
Chickawawa
consummate where everyone can hear? Yes. Oh, one hopes not. One hopes not, indeed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, every Lower Decks episode is full of that kind of, full of Easter eggs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, come on, look at Mariner with a Loeb's beer can. Well, I say
yes.
with the straws in. I mean, come on.
That was funny. Yeah, and when they parked the shuttle, she went and put a latinum strip in the box, and it's always the same shape box everywhere you go. So it's little things like that. Yeah.
Boy Liddy's hotel room, he's got the guy to like pay to use the toilet, but then pay to get a credit to use the toilet.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean the writing. I mean the writing in this episode, they've got it spot on. They really have with all the Ferengi stuff. And it just works so well.
It's a complete and utter love letter to Star Trek. The entire Lower Decks is.
Yeah, I mean, I had to. I mean, I pulled my hand up. I had to look up when the admirals did the joke about Moab 4. And I was like, where have I heard that from? So I was straight onto Google. Moab 4. It's a Masterpiece Society from Next Generation. So I'm not holding up to say that I knew that straight away. I had to look it up.
But
there's a lot of stuff I'm not using.
That you knew it.
Yeah, I knew there's something. Something.
The weird thing is, there wasn't anybody outside of the dome in that episode, so I don't think the joke worked that well. Anyway, yeah,
because you're more hardcore than most.
Nitpicking.
You're more hardcore than most. I will love you for it.
I'm definitely an absolute nitpicker. What do we think was the batshit moment for you? I mean, I've got 3, so because this episode was just full of them.
Oh yeah, it's full of just crazy stuff. But to be fair, when it comes to batshit, I don't think Lower Decks actually moves away from batshit because it's just batshit all the time. It just goes from one crazy instance to the other. I don't think I've actually got a batshit moment of it. I just there's nothing that stood out. There's nothing that stood out to me that was just a bit like too far or a bit too crazy. I think it fit within its remit quite well.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, to me, it was standout in kind of like, even for this is batshit. It's still fitted, but yeah. But I got 3, so
the only thing I would say is Well, for me, I would say Boimler at the end with his eyes wide open. Like they'd almost forgotten about him down there, and like sending the security guards and tell them don't limp. They go limp and don't resist.
And it only takes 8 hours of watching. I mean, I've sat staring at Star Trek for more than 8 hours solid before now.
Easy.
That didn't end up like that, or did I? Okay. Well, the legal system on Ferengi stood out to me. So, pretending to be a couple in order to get a discount is one of the worst crimes on Ferengi. Like, really? You get sent to sulfur mines under the sea? Yeah,
Just lying.
Yeah. So that I thought was absolutely crazy. Seeing all the hench Ferengi, and there wasn't just like one or two, there was a lot of hench Ferengi. Now, I have never ever pictured Ferengi in a hench, particularly from the DS9 episode Magnificent Seven. Sorry, not the Magnificent Seven, the
Magnificent
Ferengi. Yeah, which is, of course, like a parody of the Magnificent Seven. But yeah, the Magnificent Ferengi, kind of, they would have had hench Ferengi if hench Ferengi were a thing. But I did like.
Yeah, I love the security guards and the security guards in the restaurant, the big bulky kind of massive.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to have a quiet drink with my biking. That really made me laugh. But the top one for me, and it was kind of almost a blink and you'll miss it moment as an Easter egg when Mariner talks about the dagger of the mind cocktail.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's quite deep dive stuff, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of deep dive things that I did notice in it. Outside the hotel or outside the bar, there was a little advert sign for like robot boxing. What looks like robot boxing, and it looks like the outfits that Riker and his dad wore when they did their martial art thing back in season 2 of Next Gen. Yeah.
Ambujitsu.
So there's a little
ultimate martial art.
Yeah, that was badly staged, but that's the thing. But
so robots doing Ambujitsu.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. So I think it's about halfway through the episode. And one of the other gags that I loved in the restaurant was with the doctor. You know, when Tendi and Rutherford came and trying to pretend that they were in a 3-way relationship with the doctor,
with
all the rest of it. With Miglemo.
Yeah.
So when they basically stormed off, and the Ferengi maitre d' says, "Do you want the home wrecker special?"
Yes. You don't need to throw up in my mouth
twice for that. I mean, that's just proper laugh out loud stuff. It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to miss this season when it finishes, though. I think I really am.
Oh, totally. Well, fortunately, we can watch it multiple times. And that's the great thing about Lower Decks is you can rewatch it over and over, and you will spot new things all the time because there is so much subtle kind of Easter eggs in there. Definitely. So, what would be so we've had a few lines. Would one of those be your favorite line from the episode?
Oh yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, no, that you don't have to throw up your mouth twice. That's a corker. That's an absolute corker. Yeah. So have you got any? That's okay.
Yeah. Mine is from Ransom. When he says that the Cerritos is statistically the horniest and least romantically committed ship in Starfleet, so they don't have any married
officers.
This is the entire ship, but they don't have any married officers. But statistically, the horniest. Who's doing those surveys? Who's collating that information?
Well, to Do you know what it probably is? I don't think they're necessarily collating the information. They're just calculating how much waste there is coming out of the holodecks.
Yes, because that is now a thing in canon.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can't unsee that now.
you really can't. You really can't. Fantastic. Well, this is definitely one of my top episodes for this season. Absolutely. You said it's your favorite, isn't it?
It's my favorite so far. Have you got any theories moving forward still in your head about who this mysterious ship is or who it's being controlled by?
Well, yes and no. So we've seen a development. We saw new behavior in today's episode that we've not seen before. Because previously we've seen the ship and it's been followed by the Klingons, the Romulans, who have then threatened it, and it stopped, turned round, fired at them. Here, it's been the aggressor rather than defensive. But one of those
Because
Ferengi seem to have done a deal with it. So I'm leaning really heavily on the whole, the crew are not killed. They're beamed away.
or it could just be mistaken because I think didn't the Ferengi crew member it thought it could have been his cousin or his uncle or whatever. And
Uh,
it's not actually them who he was expecting. But you're right, the behavior is different. It's become the aggressor rather than kind of
yeah. Yeah, but the fact he was expecting them, I don't know. It just seemed mm, so that Ferengi had done a deal with whoever's behind it. I don't know. I'm moving
uh,
away from the. I had the theory, of course, that or the hope rather that it came from the machine planet that turned Vija into Vija. Just because I want like more Vija in my life. That's that's it. Most of my theories are around Vija, just like because I live in hope. Um,
definitely.
but no, I'm moving
So yeah,
away from that now.
so do you think also with this setting up the start of the potential of the Ferengi becoming part of the Federation? Because it wasn't mentioned at all in Picard. So this is obviously set before Picard. So whether
Mm.
it's still a continuing thing, because I mean they are classing lower decks as kind of canon.
Well, it is. It is definitely canon. That's been. It was one of Mike McMahon's stipulations was he would only do it if it was considered canon.
Yeah.
So the fact he's doing it, it's canon. Yeah. Although anybody who's watching who doesn't want it to be canon, it doesn't have to be for you. It doesn't need to be a thing. This.
No.
I know some people get very heated about that whole topic.
The way I
Um,
see it with this, you can take it either way. You can believe it's canon, or you can kind of just
yeah.
have it to the side of it.
Yes, yes.
But
Except for
but
very short treks, which are definitely not canon
not canon.
for anybody.
and and the lower decks crossover with Strange New Worlds, you know, these old scientists was fantastic.
Oh,
They
so well
pitched it
done.
really well. They pitched it really
So
well.
so so well done. Yeah. So this. So yeah. There's no mention of the Ferengi in the Federation in Picard, but that's set six or season 3 of Picard. Season 3 of Picard was set 17 years after. No, 16 years after this. I have to try and remember where we are in everything. But yeah,
We're on the
16
timeline.
years after this episode of Lower Decks. But they've only applied to be in the Federation. They haven't signed to join the Federation. They've signed the application.
If
So
it's
I
like anything, trying
think,
to get infrastructure done.
yeah, I think they'll leave it loose and open. Maybe the Ferengi did join, maybe they didn't. We don't know. Hmm.
Who
As
can say?
that's, I think that would
Well,
be the sensible way.
Basically, we want Star Trek Legacy now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. What about you with the mystery ship? What are your thoughts and theories?
I don't know, it would be interesting if they kind of do it in some kind of like future tech, future kind of guy, somebody wanting to kind of sow distrust and sow problems within the alpha and beta quadrant to kind of stop something that the rest of the races could kind of. It's similar to the Zindi and similar to kind of the stuff that they've done before. You know,
Mm.
could it be anything to do with Future Guy from Enterprise or anything like that? It's going to have to be something that connects with canon. Otherwise, you don't have such an emotional kind of attachment to it than if it's just a new person or a new race.
Yeah.
Because if it's a new race, then say that it's a new race from the beginning. Then wearing on the mystery, and it's the other races and the other characters who are outside the mystery. So it gives the viewer a little bit sense of we know what it is.
I would be I'd be shocked if it was a new species. Um, the way Lower Decks works, it's all callbacks to previous episodes of Star Trek somewhere along the line. So I've also had this real sense that I have seen that ship before, and I can't for the life of me think where. And I have seen people online in places like Reddit. Every now and then, someone else out there feels the same way I do. They've seen it somewhere before, they can't think where. And I've seen people saying, maybe I saw it in Star Wars, maybe I saw it like. But how about you? Does it seem familiar to you?
Not offhand, but I was going to say, if you think I've seen this starship somewhere, go into your other room, have a look. You've got 400 or so. Are you sure it's not?
There
It's
is
not
there is
catalogs were in
one
there.
ship. I've done that.
Just to check.
I have done that. There is one ship that it does bear a vague similarity to, which is the NX-01 shuttle pod.
All right. Okay. Okay.
And that's a real reach. But it's interesting you mentioned Future Guy a moment ago.
Could be.
Temporal
Yeah.
Cold War, maybe. Mm.
Well, the thing is, I mean, the temporal Cold Wars has never had a satisfactory conclusion
Never
into
had a
what
canonical
everything
one.
was. Yeah, because it even if you're just looking at the start of season 4 of Enterprise, where with who was it home was home, what that was the 2 episodes, first 2 episodes of season 4, Stormfront. I can't
Oh,
remember what the
yes, yes, Stormfront, yes.
Stormfront 1 and 2. So yes, they did the Second World War time travel stuff with the aliens and tried to kind of finish off the temporal Cold War there. But I
It
think
was
there's
never,
yeah, it was ended rather than concluded.
yeah, yeah. They'd won the battle, not the war.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There was some interesting direction. They'd never quite decided who Future Guy was
No.
when they were wrote it. There was one they were toying with the idea that it was in fact Jonathan Archer.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. I think at the time we all thought it was Romulans.
Yeah, I definitely had Romulans in my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Which
well,
would have made sense.
we've only got three more episodes of no four. Hang on,
Four.
7, 8, 9, 10. We've got four more
Four.
episodes. Numbers, maths, it's a thing. Four more episodes of Lower Decks. The fact that they've kept the name of the last two episodes totally secret, do you think that's oh,
I've got a cat meowing at his little background.
oh bless. Yeah, the last two episode names have been kept very, very secret. under lock and key. Do you think that's going to give us big clues as to
Yes.
the
Yeah.
resolution?
Otherwise they would have been out there. So they're keeping them quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think we'll get any more big clues? I can hear a cat.
Yeah, it's Pepper.
Well, we need
didn't realize
Pepper
she was in here.
Guest now. Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to the next lot of episodes of Lower Decks. It sounds like you are as well.
Definitely. Can't wait.
Absolutely.
And then we're gonna have a long wait till Discovery though, aren't we? Because haven't they pushed it back from January? So we're gonna have a big
I wasn't
gap.
aware of that. When they pushed it back to.
They haven't said.
Oh dear.
I haven't said. Because
Right.
obviously with the writer strike and the actor strike, it looks like Discovery is probably the only live action Trek that we're going to get in 2024.
Oh, undoubtedly.
So I think
maybe that's why they've
So I mean, no, we're definitely getting season 5 of Lower Decks. So you kind of wonder whether they might actually up the episode count because there's going to be a bit of a barren wasteland after. It's only, I mean, there's 10 episodes in the final season of Discovery.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the big issues, of course, with the SAG-AFTRA strike is now they've gone from like 20 odd episodes a season to 10 episodes a season with a lot of shows. This is way beyond Star Trek.
Yeah, it is.
Star Trek's obviously one of the shows that they've done this with, but they're still saying to them in their contracts, you're not allowed to take other jobs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a big issue. Support the strike, SAG-AFTRA strong, all the rest of it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's going to be a barren wasteland next year, but we'll have to make do and mend. Fortunately, we've got a huge back catalogue we can rewatch over and over and over again. Even Star Trek 5, if it comes to it, if we're really desperate.
We need to have a talk.
Fantastic. Well, we will be relishing the next 4 episodes of Lower Decks. Make sure, viewers, that you are joining us for that. And there'll be another one of these reviews next week. So make sure you hit the like button and the notification icon so that you don't miss a single one. Craig, thank you so much for joining me and helping to review. Tell everyone about Planet Marzipan before we go.
Planet Marzipan is a music chat podcast. We talk about all things Fish and Marillion. So we don't go chronologically. We're kind of dotting about all the way through the years. So the Fish era and the Steve Hogarth era right up to current date. So it's been something we've been coming for a long time, and we're looking forward to doing it, and we're having a blast. Having a blast. We don't take things seriously in the slightest. As you can probably guess.
Right, too. But where can people find your podcast to assess that for themselves?
Yeah, we're available on all of your podcast streams. So Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. So just Google us, you'll find us, no problem.
Fantastic. And I'll put a link in the description below to make it even easier for people. Fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining. And I'm sure we'll see you again. Maybe we'll have that big throwdown over Star Trek 5 at some point.
It was great to be a guest, and I'm sorry I've lowered the tone.
It takes some doing, but I knew if anybody could. Until next time, then, I wish each and every one of you peace and long life.
Live long and prosper. Didn't get caught that time.